Okay, good to go. Hey, welcome everybody to tonight's planning board meeting for the town of Poppy. Today is September 16th, 2024. If we could start with the pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, welcome. My name is Sue Smith. I'm chairman of tonight's planning board. And we are down 3 people, but to my far right is board member John Shaheen. And Sarah LaJudas is our board secretary. To my left is Carl Ferencrug and Deb Cook. And also in attendance is John Dunkel, our town engineer, William McLean Robertson, our attorney. In the back, we have our codes enforcement officer, Tim Barrett, and our thanks to Veronica for doing our wizardry electronically. First of all, we look at the minutes from last meeting. I know that there have been a couple corrections that were presented. Do we have anything else? And if not, do we have a motion?
Move to accept the minutes as modified.
Second, I second it. All in favor? Aye. And opposed? Motion carries to accept as amended. First on our agenda tonight is the Whitefield Farm Weiss subdivision. Continued review of a subdivision application of a 5.6 acre piece of land from a 45 acre parcel located at the northeast corner of Gates and Henneberry Roads at the terminus of Deer Crossing Run in the town of Pompey. Tax map number 009.02-08.2. Any representative here? Tim?
No, she's gonna hold off and hire an engineer to review her plans before she comes back.
Okay. All right, so we're gonna move on. Next on the agenda, Lockheed Martin site plan review. Continued review of a site plan application for a new 85-foot by 10-foot concrete pad and radome. Enhancements to existing driveway and electric service. New underground electric duct banks for power distribution to existing facilities located on Windy Hill Lane in the town of Pompey. Tax map number 015.02-21.0. On up. State your names.
My name is Brian Manthey. I'm an architect representing Lockheed Martin on this project, and maybe we have Jeff Eisel from Lockheed available via Zoom. We initially talked about this project in July, and there's just one correction to the description that you just read, which is it's an 85-foot by 150-foot concrete pad, 85 feet by 10 feet. So this is an aerial site. North is up. In this case, the project site is up in this corner. In this aerial, it's over on this right side. And, as stated, there's new electric service, new pad, new domes. And last time we were here in July, there was some concern about drainage and a request from the board to prepare a drainage report. And I just this morning sent to Mr. Dunkel the 808-page report. And he doesn't have any more magic wand than I do, and probably hasn't had a chance to take a look at that yet. But we're hoping that we can work out any issues that there may be related to that, and if possible, gain administrative approval so that once his approval comes to the board within the next week or two, that we can move ahead with the project, because weather will be ticking before you know it. Time will be of the essence. But took a while for me to get the report generated, and I'd like to move along as quick as possible if we could. So if that at that time of July meeting, that was the only issue that I heard raised by the board. So if there's something else, I would like to to hear about it, but what your thoughts are on relative to a conditional approval.
Based on our numbers tonight, prepared to do.
I mean, I want to see what's going on with the drainage. We've had people come forward with issues and that's the only issue I was concerned about, really.
Did you hear from the people that made the report, what the bottom line was? Did
The
you-
bottom line is that this is their modified site drainage plan, and they're gonna add a small basin at the bottom of the hill to alleviate the post-development runoff from the site. That's about all I can say about the civil engineering aspect of it, because I'll be talking out of my lane if I do.
It's on the line that protection basin is up, down just a little bit. You can't go so, yeah.
So there's
Is
two.
that retaining all that's?
No, there are two properties here, so that would be the property line of the westernmost parcel, and then the property line kind of jogs there. The retaining wall is down here. Off the sheet. This is one of the domes as it sits there now. That'd be that dome there.
As we look at it, that, leave it there, if you come closer, if I'm placing it right, the retention. Down here.
The retention would be right in this area.
I say.
Okay.
Have you started hauling in fill yet?
We haven't done anything yet.
So that's gonna be done without removing any trees or anything like that, or?
No, the trees throughout this area do get removed because as they develop this site, they need to have line of sight to the antennas that are across the valley.
But there's nothing extra being done because of the
No,
drainage.
not extra.
And basically in that report, you're answering the questions that John pointed out
I
in the
believe so,
memo
yes.
dated July 23rd.
Naparella Consulting prepared the report for me.
So conceptually, this is the mitigation that we would require, whether it's the right size and all that. I need to go through all the nuts and bolts of it, just make sure, but conceptually, this is where we want to
Where it
be.
should be.
Right.
Okay.
Yes. So I'm kind of okay with the fact, if you are, that if you want to do a conditional approval on, as long as our review doesn't change the site plan in any way. In other words, I don't come back and say it needs to be 3 times as big. I think that conceptually, what they're proposing here is addressing drainage concerns, and hopefully will mitigate it, or I'll make sure that it does. So, not to put any pressure on you guys, but,
No,
Well, it seems to me if we have a plan, if that plan is approved by you, I don't see a problem necessarily approving today.
condition on
We
perhaps the no.
haven't done a public hearing though.
Oh,
Yeah, I think, yeah, we're still.
Oh, okay.
So just-
This is what I'm supposed to. do.
Yeah.
Yeah, a further review of the questions that weren't addressed last time.
Right.
Okay, sorry, I forgot that.
That's what I was just
Yeah.
double checking, but it's, we never opened a public hearing.
So I'll have comments back by if you schedule a public hearing.
I think that's the course.
Because I think originally, when I think about it, is we didn't think there was disturbance, so this was already approved. Never mind. I'm remembering this stuff.
Rehashing. Yes.
yeah, it got a little hazy. The fact that we had one very quick way prior to this, so.
Right.
Yeah,
And a lot of those things were brought up at that one, so I'm sure when we do have a public hearing, the people will be reassured that we're addressing the drainage issues.
Okay.
So suggesting of public hearing next month to get it advertised, brings out. we'll have your
Yeah, I'll-
report,
I'll have those
but we'll
comments
have
back.
time to digest it.
Yep.
That map, the flip side that you showed. If we can get electronic copy, that we could be looking at that at a time also, showing that retention basin.
John has the electronic copy. I can,
Okay.
if I have an address, I can send it along.
Yeah, why don't you forward it to them? If I don't screw it up.
CD chair at townofpompey.org.
Okay,
He's in planning, B is
I
in.
got it.
Yes. And we did hear back from the county.
Yes,
You've seen it?
I have.
Okay. Any questions on it?
Nope.
The county said that they had no significant adverse inter-community or countywide implications. They pointed out a few things, but nothing major jumped out on it. So,
Okay, so we'll see you next month for public hearing.
you need a copy of the letter and addresses who to send notices to.
Yes, please.
Yep.
You
I'll
two
get
hook
all
up
that
on
to
that.
Okay,
you. Be the
Okay.
21st.
right.
October 21st, we'll have everything and you'll be able to get it. first.
Okay,
All
all right, good.
right.
Thank you.
All right,
Thanks,
thank you.
Ryan.
I don't know if I have that. That's not embedded in here, is it?
It is. It's probably really small, and you can have a copy of it.
Read it, John.
I'm not seeing it.
This is the June 14th.
Another sentence. Maybe.
This has a lot of stuff in it.
They added that. That's the plan.
It is embedded.
Okay, I'll trust you on that.
I can give you the hard copy if you prefer.
That would be great. There it is. I just got it. Okay. Yeah. Gotcha.
Okay.
Perfect.
Delphi Falls Fire Department Site Plan Review. Preliminary review of a site plan application to replace the existing sign with an LED sign located at 2261 Delphi Road in the town of Pompey. Tax stamp number is 033.-02-05.5. Come on up, Diana. How many reminders did you get today?
Oh, I made sure I put the alerts in my phone today, so the alarms were going off. I apologize about last month. Oh,
So, talk to us.
basically, we're just looking to replace the existing sign. I think you guys have the specs and everything. The size and the location are about the same as what we currently have. The difference being that's an LED. Excuse me, an LED sign. In the specs that you've got, you can see that it's gonna be computerized, so it can be dim or bright or anything in between. I know the fire department was talking about possibly either turning it off or real low by 9 o'clock at night, so it's not bright at all. But it gives us an avenue to advertise like our breakfasts and our other stuff on there. And the money was given to us via a grant, which is what really pushed this along. So thank you to Dave Knapp for that. So I'm here to answer whatever questions you guys have. I understand that you wanted some more information, so I set forth the stuff from the sign company. And I'll answer what I can.
I just know from the LED that what comes to mind, they're very flexible and I love it, but I know when I come up out of Janesville.
Oh, is there's bright? I haven't driven through there, so I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Well, the day the sign company came to advertise this to us in a meeting, I came around the corner of my house and the whole sky was lit up. He had it that bright
Yeah.
and I was horrified. And I went in, it's like, it's not gonna be like that. He goes, no. So
Yeah.
it has the capability of put whatever lumens you want it at. So it won't be, we don't want that. We don't want that bright.
I
either.
understand like daytime that to have it brighter so you can see it, but.
Yeah, so it'll be on a timer.
Time that more subtlety,
Right.
I think the neighbors there in the hamlet would appreciate it. You can still see it and read it, just
Right.
down,
So
so.
it's my understanding, the whole program, it's, you can program the times on different things, so it shouldn't never be bright at night. So I'm not sure how bright it'll be during the day. But
Daytime doesn't. It's like our tablets in the bus daytime that it's all brighter and then, you know, you start losing the sun early morning, it's just, you dim it and it's.
those of us that don't have tablets don't understand.
In your car.
I know what you mean, but yeah, so things are different at night than during the day, yeah. So that's what the plan is, right from the beginning, is it would be on a timer to dim down. They even talked about if it needed to be, they could shut it off like 9 o'clock at night, so I'm not sure it needs to be shut.
I
off,
don't think
but
it needs to
Just-
just shut off.
just
You
real
want
low.
people to.
I'd be able to identify.
Know where it
That
is.
if it's an emergency,
Yeah.
that's one place you do want to find, just, I don't think you need to be blinded.
That Vegas
Finding it.
neon sign light brightness, yeah.
Um,
Anyway,
I don't know,
We're all-
comments?
Is it controlled by a computer inside the
Yes.
firehouse?
Mhm.
Okay.
yep,
And there's enough flexibility where if there's a problem, it can be adjusted.
Yes. Okay, good.
yeah, and any complaints, we're just phone call away anyway, so.
You know, it's something on this. No. Right up his alley. Site plan review, we need public hearing on this too, or can, it's a public entity?
Yeah, well. It's the replacement of a sign. Replacement of signs in kind are type 2 actions that don't require seeker. Regardless, probably should still have a public hearing in case, because it is a public building, and then. In the seeker, it's type 2 if we want to determine that LED is in kind, or we treat it as unlisted if we wanted to evaluate. If there are comments about the brightness or anything, we could do it that way too.
Quick public hearing and just.
Yeah, sure.
I'm sorry, because of the hand.
Oh, this thing is dragged out for so long.
I know, but in fairness to just the neighbors, you know, somebody may speak and nobody may show up either,
Right,
but due diligence,
process is process.
yeah. Any other comments?
So will they have to send letters to everybody in the trailer park because they're adjoining, or just the person who owns the trailer park?
That's a good question. Yeah, I think it's just the property owner, because with apartment buildings, I don't know, do every tenant, right? Just do
Okay,
your
just to,
apartment
you know,
building.
to make sure.
Yeah, so if it's, yeah, they're not
Those big property.
individually owned lots, if it's just one lot owner.
It will depend on what the 1,000-foot search on the counties. Yeah. That's what we'll have to go by, I think.
Is there a way to make it cheap?
Yeah, I would still, yeah, depending if it falls within the threshold, just because it's something. Like if it were a bigger non-lit up sign, I think there would be less, but because it's lighting, and I don't know if there's any traffic concerns or anything like that. We might say, you know, nothing, you know, we're not concerned.
Just trying to think if there was a way around just to save, just the fire department. Save funds, but certified but we just need the one. They don't have to be certified, signed receipts coming back in. It's just a letter that they sent.
Yeah, correct. Yeah, if they've sent out the notices and they're certifying to us that they sent the notice. That's how you guys have done it before.
Get with this one,
I'll send you
Should get
everything
you
that you guys will need for it.
so. 21st, should be one and done. but- I'm sorry. Same calendar.
Last month.
Yeah, you'd be done tonight.
Right.
Anyway, Diana, if you have questions, whatever, give a holler, but get in touch with Sarah and we'll get that going. Okay, last up. Copy observatory subdivision application, the preliminary review of the site plan app. 2-acre lot to the immediate south of Pompey Center Cemetery. Tax map number 015-01-07 dot. Come on up.
I am coming up. Kamal Chibur, I am the sole owner of Pompey Observatory LLC. I live on Gardner Road. I have, since I retired from the Air Force, I have 8 telescopes. My back is blocked by the hill. I'm looking for a place where I can have 360-degree view to bring my telescopes and observe the heavens.
Mm.
I know Janine Kasha and Carl from church. Talked to her about possibly getting as disruptive as possible. A small lot, I was told 2 acres as the minimum subdivision. So we're applying to get that 2 acres immediate south of the cemetery. So I can put my telescopes at night and observe the sky. I do not plan to develop the property.
Okay. So you're not looking to put a driveway on Pompey Center Road?
Correct. I'm
Okay.
not.
That was my only concern about that location, really.
Where are you gonna park then?
There is, right now, right next to the cemetery, I can pull in and park. That would become on the property. It is level with the road.
There's a decent driveway to the north of the cemetery.
There is a farm access to the north.
Yeah.
And the land, the ground is level with the road on the south. Right now, Jerry Rounds mows it so he can go around the cemetery full circle. I spoke with him, spoke with Craig Dennis also. Craig uses it to drive his tractor on it. So it is reasonably safe to park off the road just south of the cemetery without having to put a driveway.
Well,
I'm wondering about the site distance, if you're right next to the cemetery. And to be pulling off there.
I'm familiar, on the north side, there's a little bit of a. Either way, but. It'd just be you, just the one car.
I plan on special events like tomorrow night, if I were there, we have a lunar eclipse. I plan to work with the school district to get their astronomy program involved, so we will have kids up there occasionally watching.
So where you're intending that their cars are also gonna be pulling off.
Drop the kids off and come park here. It usually will be a couple hours at night.
Okay.
And
I
in the early
understand.
evening.
So you're gonna drop them off and then park the cars physically here.
That is my intent, yes. They will be escorted by teachers and or parents.
Okay, that I do have a safety concern on, that I own the property across the road and I'm familiar with
Yes,
equipment and
yes.
so on, and how people come flying through there, and if you don't have a driveway or a place to get a car off the road to unload, that's an accident waiting to happen, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
I agree, just the cars go through there so fast, yes.
Yeah.
Well, and especially during you'd be using this during the winter too?
I plan to use it year round, yes.
Yeah, because I mean, during the
Oh,
winter, the way
that's
that
one
hill drifts in and,
Yes, visibility is terrible.
cars heading south, you come up over the crest of that hill and, if somebody's accessing on the south side of that, cemetery, I mean, I've come down that hill at times and, been skidding down
Yes.
that hill.
Then I will hold off then involving the school and be the sole user of it for my telescopes.
I mean, my concern would just be accessing from the south side of the cemetery. In and out there. I just think that would be a real safety concern on my part.
Either side is tricky.
Yes. And do you leave your telescopes there or you carry them in and out each time?
I carry them in and out.
So you're not actually gonna build anything here, right?
I do not intend to build. I will use a card table initially. I may put a small concrete slab for to stabilize the telescopes eventually. My telescopes literally fit inside a briefcase.
Oh,
Building, but
He's not building or doing anything like that, doesn't that kind of actually went over again?
so what, I guess my interest is, okay, in Pompey Observatory, so we've got an indication what you hope is to bring school children there. I don't get the cart before the horse, but I do have a question of a 2-acre subdivision with the intent of an observatory if there are kids and other activities involved. Is this something that should have a site plan to know that it's permitted and safe to save you the expense of truly subdividing it and then finding out that there are possible limitations, or how best to approach this, I guess?
I have been living on Gardner Road for 27 years now.
Mhm,
I got to know the area very well.
mhm,
I stop by the cemetery often.
mhm.
I observe the skies. I know where the planets rise and fall. I looked at many locations around the area, all the way south to Kyler and all the way to Oneida. And I feel very comfortable that I can pull my car, take my telescopes out, put them on a card table or on tripods on the ground,
Mhm,
and image for several hours a night.
mhm.
And that is a good location to do so. I'm willing to go through the expense of subdividing, purchasing, and then eventually leave it behind.
so have you ever brought school children up to the cemetery to watch the
No,
stars?
no.
Okay,
No, I
this is
don't.
what we're concerned about, is getting people up there and the traffic is kind of fast.
But we need to come back to that he's applying for a
Just
2-acre subdivision.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really a subdivision issue
Okay.
now.
That's, but normally, part of a subdivision is access. And, okay, that's, I know there's a farm driveway on the north side. On the south side, I don't know that we've ever really used one on the south side. There's much further down, closer to Sharp's old house.
Yeah,
There's
there's a
access
driveway
in
there,
there.
but I don't know how far. if this-
It's quite a ways down. It would be beyond this 2 acres.
Okay, that's what
Yeah.
I wasn't sure how far down, yes.
Yeah. Yeah, fundamentally, you've met all the parameters on the 2-acre subdivision. It meets code. It's got road frontage and the depth and all that.
Right, oh, yeah.
Question driveway. Basically, that if it's just one car, but I don't know, other comments? It's,
Again, if it's access from the north side, that south side scares the hell out of me.
You gotta
I mean, especially.
You gotta be careful pulling out of that north side, that I can speak from experience,
Yes.
the way that the road. So, whether it's just you and your individual car, I know even in a tractor sitting up higher, that you're always double checking, triple checking, because cars get in those dips and you can't see them, so. That's my concern on that part, if that's where the driveway is gonna be. You could always apply to the county just for a driveway permit, maybe further south. It might be a little better visibility. But
Well,
Maybe,
again, no, I mean, if
maybe.
you were, yeah, I mean, if you were pulling, well, all I was thinking of is if somebody pulled even further south on that lot, if you pulled out and headed south. And somebody's
Somebody's coming
coming,
over, yeah.
and somebody's heading south and they come up over the hill there. And just barrel right into you because you're not gonna be able to stop.
Um, Otherwise, as a 2 acre subdivision,
It's
it's
not allowed to review right now.
public hearing next month. So,
I mean, what about, but even access, I mean, do Keisha's own the property behind and to the north of the cemetery?
yes.
It's a piece, yeah.
So how, I mean, if we wanted to somehow not allow access on the south side, you'd have to get some kind of an easement from them on the north side.
Think you want that written. I can get more
One
comments.
car on the north side and walk to the south of the cemetery. That's not a problem.
My only thought is, just because we've dealt with this before, and I don't know enough about the site distance on this road, but the worst thing would be that he subdivides this and then he can't get approval, or if he wants to sell it in the future, can't get driveway approval based on any site distance consideration, so it's one thing if he has an easement, but even this is a janky easement, it should be that at some point on this road, it meets the site distance requirements for a driveway. So a
Right,
company
because
has.
You probably drove by 50 or 55 mile an hour road.
Like you would on any other
55,
subdivision,
so-
so you
Yeah.
know that there's driveway access somewhere.
Just because it's not landlocked now, based on the map, doesn't mean that they could get driveway approval, because we're dealing with that on another.
Behoove yourself to contact the county and see if you can get a driveway permit somewhere within that road frontage of that parcel. For those reasons,
Yes,
okay, today you say that you don't need it, but you gotta think in the future. And if you came that, okay, I'm done with this, I want to sell the lot, and if the next person can't get a driveway permit, that's an unbuildable lot and you may never be able to move it. Food for thought. So, you got anything, Tim? Ed?
Just the access, yeah, I would apply for even if it's just an agricultural access to get in there. For now. And if in the future, if you did expand or plan to build something, you may have to update the access. I don't know, to a commercial or residential access and make sure it passes with that.
So this is all. Because
Cause I mean, the lot doesn't necessarily need to be rectangular.
And that's why I was
But you
wondering
can-
if you made it, put more road frontage with it instead of that. Then you'd have the road
Does this
frontage
get
to
you an
get
idea?
Yeah. To be able to get a driveway, kind of diagonal, high spot.
Yes,
15 acres.
it'd be safer if you had more road frontage.
Or
Or-
if you made it bigger now, you can always some
So
do something else.
The question, I know you're looking elevation and how the height frowns and so on. If you gave thought, instead of here, if it was more on the northerly side, because I know that the hill, the road crowns and your sight distance is better the further north you go in Cash's lot. Have you given any thought
Yeah,
to that?
the trees of the cemetery will block all view that I might have of the south.
Yeah, I mean, you could still extend behind the cemetery a little bit. It would give you the access from the north. It doesn't need to, in other words, like we were saying, it doesn't need to be a square lot, you know, or a rectangular lot, even it could be an odd shape. To be able to give you your.
Careful.
You don't want a flag lot
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
not
So,
flag lot, no.
yeah.
And years from now.
But
Same thing, all of a sudden it gets too big, and then they try to subdivide it. Doesn't- Like a 2 acre lot isn't gonna be subdivided, I think, if it all of a sudden was 4 acres to wrap around that, and somewhere down the road, they go, oh, we wanna subdivide it into 2 acre lots. One has access, one doesn't.
But when we talk about a flag lot though, I mean, if the flagpole was along the back side of the cemetery, that's no big deal, right? I mean, when we talk about a flag lot, we're talking about the pole being perpendicular to the road generally, right?
I,
I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be, I would think it would be okay, because it's not like we're putting a sliver of property like a flag.
well, I guess my suggestion, the first thing is get in touch with the county and see if you can get a driveway permit on this as presented. That would be the first step. We go from there, but we could advertise this for public hearing for next month.
Yeah.
Right, so it'll be advertised, it'll be a public hearing for next month. You'll have to be in touch with Sarah. There's a letter that you have to send out, she'll give you all the addresses, be certified mail, et cetera, et cetera. October 21st is our next meeting, there'll be a public hearing. Hopefully, got in touch with the county and have an answer for us on the driveway.
Okay. So we're asking the county, do I get a permit or do I ask if it's permittable?
That you're looking at subdividing a piece of land
Mhm.
and you would need driveway permit and they'll come out. I'm assuming they still come out.
Yeah, and the fee, it's only a $15 fee for the permit, so.
And are they
Basically,
like,
they'll do a site distance based on what the speed limit is and how
I
far.
think it's permittable. He doesn't actually get the permit until this is all approved. So it would be a
So the
letter.
question
stating
is it permittable?
Permittable, yeah,
And
permittable.
then bring the answer with you in written form.
okay, thank you.
Okay?
Just out of curiosity, so I presume the prime spot is right on that southeast corner of the cemetery.
Actually, the prime spot right now is about 80 feet east of the road and about 60 feet south of the cemetery.
Okay, okay. So about, okay.
So. Just.
I need to be able to see the North Star to align the telescopes. So the trees, I'll have to be on one side or the other. The other gets me too far low, so I'll be on the west side of the trees and a little bit south because of the utility poles.
So
Okay.
with 2 acres, you intend on mowing it and keeping it mowed or?
No, my agreement with Craig is he'll be able to continue tilling most of it.
Okay,
I only want about the size of the cemetery, about half an acre that I will mow regularly. And Craig Dennis will continue tilling the rest of it.
yeah, I think driveway access is probably our biggest
Okay,
please. Okay.
thank you.
All right,
Thank you.
Nice one. Anybody have anything else? Hearing none, I make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion approved. And thank you, everybody.